Welcome back to our second part of the quadratic equation word problems. Now we're going to look into the problems which deals with area and perimeter. Okay, here is our first question. So in this question we have a rectangular garden and the measures are 10 meter by 16 meter and there is a uniform width concrete walk of width x meter. Area of the walk is given 120 square meter. You have to form an equation in terms of x and then find the value of x. So let us first write what is given. Width of the walk concrete walk is given x meter. The measures of the garden is 10 meter by 16 meter. Let us try to understand this question with the help of a diagram. In this diagram you can easily find out the measures of the garden, that's 16 meter, 10 meter breadth, and the width of the walk all around is x meter. Now the area of the width is given, that's 120 square meter. How do we get the area of the walk? If we remove the inner area or if we subtract the inner rectangular area from the outer rectangular area, we are left with only the area of the walk. That means what we are going to do is we are going to subtract the area of the garden from the area of the garden and the walks taken together. Now the area of the garden can be easily found by multiplying the length and the breadth of the garden. How do we get the length and breadth of the outer or the large? The length of the larger rectangle is the length of the inner garden plus the width on both sides, that's x plus x. So we are going to add 2x to 16 to get the length of the larger rectangle. Similarly, we are going to add 2x to the breadth of the rectangle to get the total breadth of the outer rectangle. So now we have the length and the breadth of the outer rectangle. We can easily find the area of the total path and the garden taken together. So total length including the walk would be 16 plus 2x meters. Similarly, the total breadth including the walk is 10 meter plus 2x, that's 10 plus 2x meters. Now we can write the expression like area including the walk we are subtracting the area of the inner rectangle. Okay, so area of only the garden part, if we subtract that, we have seen that it's the area of the walk. Okay, so that's the length and breadth of the outer rectangle, that's 16 plus 2x into 10 plus 2x minus area of the garden is 16 into 10 equals to area of the work is 120 square meter. Okay, so we get an expression in terms of x. We have to write the quadratic equation in terms of x. If you open the bracket, you get 2x 4x square. Then we have 32x and 20x, that's 52x, and then 16 into 10 is 160 minus 160 equals to 120. So we have 4x square plus 52x, this is gone, and we have minus 120 equals to 0. Now the whole expression divided by 4, we get x square plus 13x minus 30 equals to 0. 4 divided by 4 on both sides, so we get this quadratic equation, x square plus 13x minus 30. Now you need to solve this quadratic equation to find the value of x. And this is how we solve it. After solving, we get x equals to minus 15 and x equals to 2. But x is what? It's the width and it cannot be a negative integer. Okay. So the width of the work is 2 meters. Let us write it. X equals to minus 15 or x equals to 2. So the width of work cannot be negative, so x equals to 2, and therefore width of work equals to 2 meters. So we needed this expression in terms of x, and we needed the value of x. This is a simple question where we have the length of the rectangle is given as 5 meters more than its breadth. Okay, so it exceeds the breadth by 5 meters. And there is a condition given if the breadth were doubled, so which is double breadth, and the length is reduced by 9 meters, then area would be 140 meters square more than the previous one. Okay, so you have to find the dimensions. That means you have to find the length and breadth of the rectangle. So let us write the parts that's given. So length, let us first write the breadth, because length depends on the breadth. Okay, so breadth plus 5. Let the breadth be x, then length equals to x plus 5. Now what is the area? Area is length into breadth, that's x into x plus 5. Okay. Now according to the problem, if the breadth is doubled, so new breadth equals to 2 times the original breadth, 2x, and length is reduced by 9, so new length equals to the original length minus 9. So the original length is x plus 5 minus 9, that's x minus 4. Okay, so the new length is x minus 4, and the new area is 140 meters square more than the previous one. Okay, so according to the problem, we have new area equals to original area plus 140 meters square. Okay, So new area is, you can multiply length into breadth, that's x minus 4 into 2x equals to original area is x into x plus 5 and plus 140. So if you open the brackets, you get 2x square minus 8x equals to x square plus 5x plus 140. Writing all the terms on one side, we have 2x square minus x square minus 8x minus 5x minus 13x and minus 140 equals to 0. This is how we solve it. After solving, we get x equals to 20 or x equals to minus 7. So we get x equals to 20 or x equals to minus 7. Now x is the breadth of the rectangle and which cannot be negative. So discarding the negative value, the breadth is 20 meter and the length is 5 more than this, that's 20 plus 5, 25 meter. Okay, if you want to verify, you can see that the area is length into breadth. We get 25 into 20, that's 500 meters square. Okay, and the new area is breadth is 2 times the original one, that's 40, and the length is decreased by 9, so 25 minus 9 is 16. So if you multiply, you get 640 meters square, which is 140 more than the original area. So whatever the answer we got is correct. In this question, we have sum of the two smallest right angle triangle is 17 centimeter. So that means excluding the hypotenuse. So if one side is say x, the other one has to be 17 minus x, because sum of these two is 17 centimeter and the perimeter is given 30. So sum of all these three sides is 30. So the length of the hypotenuse has to be 30 minus 17. That's 13. You have to find the area of the triangle. So we just need to find these two sides, base and height, then we can use the formula. So let us write the given parts first. Sum of two smaller sides equals to 17 centimeter. Perimeter equals to 30 centimeter. So let us say let the height, or you can say let AB equals to x and then BC equals to 17 minus x and AC equals to 30 minus sum of those two, that's x plus 17 minus x, or it's 17 only, so that's 13. Now since triangle ABC is a right triangle, we can apply Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so using Pythagoras theorem, what is the length of the hypotenuse? We have 13 square equals to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, that's x square plus 17 minus x whole square. So the sum of the squares of the other two sides is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So we get x square, and 17 minus x whole square is x square minus 34x plus 17 square is 289 equals to 13 square is 169. So writing all the terms at one place, we get x square plus x square, 2x square minus 34x, that's plus 120 equals to 0. Dividing the whole expression by 2, we get x square minus 17x plus 60 equals to 0. Now we found the quadratic equation, just needed to solve it. This is how we solve the quadratic equation. So we get x equals to 12 or x equals to 5. So x equals to 12 or x equals to 5. So the two smaller sides are 5 centimeter, and the other one, obviously 17 minus 5 is 12 centimeter. So whether you write 12 centimeter or 5 centimeter or 5 centimeter or 12 centimeter, it's the same. And therefore area of the triangle equals to half into BC into AB. So half into 5 into 12, that's 5 into 6, 30 centimeters square. In this question we have an auditorium where we have the number of rows is equal to the number of seats in each row. Okay, we'll try to see this question with the help of a figure. For now you should remember number of rows is equal to the number of seats in each row. Okay, now there is a condition: if the number of rows is doubled, and the number of seats in each row, that means number of seats taken in one row of each is reduced by 5, then the total number of seats is increased by 375. So total number of seats. So here suppose this is row number 1, where we have x number of seats, 1, 2, 3, 4, and like that we have x number of seats. So there are x number of seats in each row. So row number 2 again we have x number of seats, row number 3 also x number of seats. Like that, how many rows we have? Since the number of rows and the number of seats in each row are equal, so there should be x number of rows. Okay, so how many rows are there? There are x number of rows. So this is the original condition where you have the number of seats in each row is equal to the number of rows. Then how many seats are there in total? In total you have x in each row, and how many rows? X plus x plus x plus like that, x times. So the total number of seats are x into x, that's x square. Okay, now let us come to the condition that was given in the question. If the number of seats are reduced by 5 in each row, that means suppose from the left side we are reducing this 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So how many seats will be there in the new rows? We have total number of x minus 5. So we have x minus 5 seats in each row, okay, according to the new condition. And the number of rows are doubled. So initially we had x number of rows, now we have 2x number of rows. Okay, so the rows are doubled. So if we double the rows and reduce the number of seats in each row by x minus 5, then we have, say, this part of the auditorium, and the rows are increased to 2 times. So here if you count, you have x minus 5 for the first row, x minus 5 for the second row, like that. How many times? It's 2x times. So the new number of total sets will be x minus 5 into 2x. So this is the total number of sets in the new condition. Okay, so now let us write the given figures in words here. Let us assume that the number of seats in each row, let us first say let the number of rows be x and number of seats in each row is x. Okay, that is also x. So total number of seats is equal to x into x, that's x squared. Now according to the given condition, we have a new number of rows equals to 2 times the original one, so that's 2x. New seats in each row, that's reduced by 5, we have x minus 5. Okay, so new total number of sets. Okay, new total sets equals to, we have x minus 5 into 2x. Now according to the condition, it says it increases, the total number of sets increases by 375. That means new sets minus original sets equals to 375. So this is the number of sets which are more in the new condition. Okay, so if we subtract the original sets from the new number of sets, we get 375. So we found the expression. Now just let us write in terms, that's x minus 5 into 2x minus original number of sets is x squared equals to 375. Now you can reduce this to a quadratic equation. We have 2x squared minus 10x minus x squared minus 375 equals to 0. So we have 2x squared minus x squared is x squared minus 10x minus 375 equals to 0. Now we have the quadratic equation, just needed to solve it. So this is our quadratic equation, x squared minus 10x minus 375. Solving it, we get x equals to 25 or x equals to minus 15. So after you solve it, you get x equals to 25 or x equals to minus 15. So the number of rows cannot be negative. Number of rows equals to 25, discarding the negative one. So here is the verification part in case you wanted to go through. And this question says, in an annual function of a school, each student gives gifts to every other student. Okay, so the number of gifts is also given 1980. You have to find the number of students. Now let us suppose let the number of students be x. Okay, let us try to understand this with the help of a diagram. So suppose there are students like this is student number 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can name them according to your wish. So you see these are the students. So how many students are there? There are x students. Now each one gives gift to the others. Okay, so everyone gets gift from the other person. So how many gifts this person has to buy? He has to buy, leaving himself, the others are x minus 1. So he has to buy x minus 1 gifts. Similarly, the other person is also buying x minus 1 gifts. And it goes on for everyone. Everyone buys x minus 1 gift because everyone has to hand a gift to the other person. Now how many gifts in total we have? X minus 1, x minus 1, x minus 1. Now how many times? It's x times. Okay, so that's x times x minus 1 is the total number of gifts. That's 1980. Now we have found the expression. Let's write it. So number of gifts bought by each. So each student is buying x minus 1 gifts. So total number of gifts equals to 1980. That's given, and that's x into x minus 1 equals to 1980. So that was an easy one. X squared minus x minus 1980 equals to 0. Now you need to solve this quadratic equation to find the value of x. This is the solution part. You can pause the video and you can see how it's solved. We get x equals to 45 or x equals to minus 44. Okay. So after solving, you need to solve it. X equals to 45 or x equals to minus 44. What is x? It's the total number of students, which cannot be negative. Okay, so you have to discard this negative value. So the total number of students is 45. This question also deals with the right angled triangle, but you need to go through the conditions. It's different here. The length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle exceeds the length of one side by 2 cm and exceeds twice the length of the other side by 1 cm. Okay, so you have to find the length of each side and also the perimeter and area of the triangle. So if we say the length of the hypotenuse is x, then as per the first condition, it says it's more than one of the sides by 2 cm. So if the hypotenuse is x, then one of those sides is 2 cm less than x. Okay, so we say BC. Suppose we can also say AB is x minus 2, but you can take it anyway. So BC is x minus hypotenuse minus BC is 2 cm. So the other side is BC. It exceeds one of the sides by 2 cm. So x minus bc equals to 2. We have supposed hypotenuse to be x. So x minus 2 equals to bc. So bc is x minus 2. Now writing the hypotenuse in terms of the third side. So we see from the condition, hypotenuse exceeds twice the other side. Okay, exceeds twice the other side. So twice of AB, and hypotenuse exceeds by 1 centimeter. So we have x minus 2 times AB equals to 1. So what is AB? AB is x minus 1 by 2. So this is our AB. Now once we have found all the three sides, we can use Pythagoras theorem, since this is a right triangle. Okay, so since triangle ABC is a right triangle, we can apply Pythagoras theorem. That means x minus 1 by 2 whole square plus x minus 2 whole square equals to the hypotenuse square. So sum of the squares of the other two sides equals to the square of the hypotenuse. Now you need to write this in the form of a quadratic equation. So that's x square plus 1 minus 2x by 4 plus x square minus 4x plus 4 equals to x square. That's you can take x squared to that side and it gets cancelled. So you have x square minus 2x minus plus 1. If you take LCM 4 now, we have minus 16x plus 16 equals to 0. That's x squared minus 2x minus 16x minus 18x, 1 plus 16 plus 17, 4 multiplied by 0 gets 0, x squared minus 18x. And this is the solution for that quadratic equation. We get x equals to 17 or x equals to 1. So after solving, we get x equals to 17 or x equals to 1. We have to discard the value x equals to 1, because if we take the hypotenuse to be 1 and the other sides will be less than 0, which is negative, which is not possible. So discarding x equals to 1, we have hypotenuse equals to x equals to 17 centimeter. Okay, so we have AC equals to 17 centimeter, then BC equals to x minus 2, that's 17 minus 2, 15 centimeter, and AB equals to x minus 1, 17 minus 1, 16 by 2, 8 centimeter. So these are the three sides. We have to find the area and the perimeter. So perimeter equals to 17 plus 15 plus 8. We have 32 plus 8, 40 centimeter, and area equals to half into BC into AB, base into height. Half into 15 into 8. So 4 into 15, 60 centimeters square. That's all in this section. We see